Hello and hi, today my group which consists of ATIQAH binti AZHAR, NURFATIHAH, NURFATINI and me myself, NURNABILA HUDA, will explain to you about the murder case of Caylee Anthony. In 2008, the world was captivated by the bizarre behavior displayed by Caylee Anthony. People were shocked by Caylee Anthony's strange action. She was a 22-year-old single mom who came from Orlando, Florida. It turned out that she told many lies to hide the fact that her 2-year-old daughter Caylee had disappeared that summer. Photo on Facebook show her partying and she seemed emotionless in interview. This led to the charge of first-degree murder before Caylee's body was found later that year. Unfortunately, in 2011, Caylee was found not guilty, leaving many people upset and without answer about who killed her daughter and why. Caylee married Anthony, an American toddler who lived in Orlando, Florida with her mother, Caylee Mary Anthony, and her maternal grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony. On July 15, 2008, she was reported missing in 911 call made by Cindy, who said she had not seen Caylee for 31 days. According to the Cindy, told the operator, Caylee had given birth explanation as a Caylee were bound before eventually saying that she had not seen Caylee for a week. Caylee later called the police and told the police dispatcher that Caylee has been kidnapped by a nanny. On June 9, Caylee was charged with the first murder degree in October 2008 and pled not guilty after that. Throughout 2009 and 2010, many evidence are collected and analysis on evidence was performed. On May 9, 2011, the trial began with the jury selection. This process took 11 days to finish. After the long trial on July 4, 2011, the jury started their deliberation. The 7-woman, 5-man jury took only 10 hours before coming back with the verdicts. Caylee Anthony was found not guilty of the first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of the child. She was found guilty of 4 counts of providing false information to the law enforcement. Caylee was sentenced to 4 years in jail, and this year will be served continuously and will include the time she already served. She was released from the jail on 11 July 2011.
The prosecution case highlighted the key role of duct tape in suggesting foul play. Chief Medical Examiner testified that the body's placements and the presence of duct tape indicate foul play, especially considering Anthony failed to report her daughter's disappearance. Evidence included a superimposition of Caylee's skull over her face to demonstrate the duct tape's placement before decomposition. Despite its potentially disturbing nature, the judge allowed this evidence due to its significance in this case.
On October 24, 2008, a hair found in Caylee Anthony's skull trunk resembled Caylee's and showed signs of decompositions. Despite similarities, precise identification was impossible due to the lack of roots and also tissue for DNA extractions. The prosecution suggested that Caylee stole Caylee in the trunk after using the chloroforms. However, the discovered hair was sent to the forensic lab with other evidence, but certainty about its origin remained uncertain. In June 2008, insects were found in Caylee Anthony's skull trunks. Forensic entomologists used insect lifespans and forensic entomology to estimate Caylee's times of death. Entomology expert, which is Timothy Huntington, testified that the insects in Anthony's skull trunks were linked to the decompositions, but he expected more if the Caylee's bodies has been stored there. Research involving dead pigs in the skull trunk supported these observations, where Dr. Haskell presented the evidence of insects associated with the dead bodies. However, the defense's expert, Dr. Huntington, he argued that the insect could also be common in human waste, challenging their role as indicators of the decompositions.
Forensic chemist testified that he found chloroform residue on samples taken from the trunk liner and spare tire cover with high level of chloroform detected in the trunk air. The prosecution contended that Caylee Anthony used chloroform to render her daughter unconscious before committing the murder. The chloroform residue was crucial evidence for the prosecution, suggesting Anthony's involvement in the crime. However, the defense argued that the presence of chloroform could be explained by other sources such as the cleaning product, presenting an alternative innocent explanation. During the Caylee Anthony trial, search on her laptop for the term such as chloroform was discovered through a search warrant. These findings were presented by the prosecution as an evidence of premeditation. Additionally, examination of family desktop computer revealed search related to harmful action, including foolproof suffocation and method involving chloroform. The timing of this search coincided with crucial moment during Caylee's disappearance, implying a potential connection to her death.
Caylee's body was discovered in the woods area near the Anthony's house on December 11, 2008 by a utility worker. She was wrapped in layers of bag with a duct tape around her head, covering her nose and also mouth. Human bones, including the radius, humerus, femoris, ribs, and more, were found in the areas. Dr. John Gravely and Chief Medical Examiners as well as anthropologist Dr. John Scott confirmed that the remains as Caylee Anthony's. The deaths were through as homicide with an undetermined cause. Examined infant skeleton remains makes the determining sex and also the ancestry unreliable. The estimated age of death is around 2 years that match Caylee's age of her disappearance and the discovery of the remains.
Investigator found duct tape on victims and the identification process involved documentation, collection and analysis. For the documentation process, the duct tapes were photographed and noted to indicate the exact location, and for the collection, the duct tape was collected and packaged in a clear plastic. From the analysis that has been made, there are 3 difference of duct tapes and size have been found, which are 9.5 inch, 9 inch and 7.5 inch. In this analysis, the presence of latent fingerprint will be detected. The forensic analysts used a variety of methods to analyze the fingerprint, but all of the attempts were unsuccessful, causing the method to be used to detect fingerprint become more and more complex. Despite the use of duct tape in the case, its decomposition made it possible to determine how the murder was carried out.
Hair collected from the Casey Anthony skull trunks, analyzed by the FBI, revealed a dark band indicating decomposition supported by a mitochondrial DNA analysis. The mats of hair found near Caylee's skulls exhibit signs of insect activities. While for the mitochondrial DNA, it's confirmed that the Anthony female lineage, it couldn't individualize the persons. Forensic analyst Catherine Tyson testified that the hair from the trunks and also Caylee's skulls match each other, showing decay near the roots. The FBI also concluded that a hair coming from the Anthony skull trunk likely coming from a deceased body, supported by a postmortem bendings and also drug tests on the hair were negative for benzoidic ethins and also ketamine tests. Forensic entomologist Dr. Haskell, a prosecution's own witness, linked that the insects in Casey Anthony's skull trunk to decompositions, estimated the remains in the trunk for about 3 days. However, defense experts Dr. Hutchinson disagreed, suggesting the absence of certain insects indicate the body movements. Hutchinson research with that speed showed that limitations and also regional differences. The defense argued that the smells came from the trash, not the Caylee's bodies. Hutchinson also highlighted that the presence of insects doesn't confirm the decompositions, as they were also common in human garbage. Differences in insects, activity calculation were presented during the trial, questioning the timeless of the event.
The forensic unit first documented the chloroform residue from all of the angles in the car trunks. Next, they collected and analyzed a sample from the trunk of a car using 2 techniques, which are SPME and tactile polymer bag. GCMS was employed to analyze the sample, revealing trace amount of volatile organic compound in the trunk, including gasoline fume. 2 spare tire covers were found to contain dimethyl disulfide, tetrachloroethane and chloroform, known to be released during human decomposition. However, this compound can also come from other sources such as natural substance, sterile cleaning and degreaser, making it inconclusive evidence of human decomposition in the trunk. Stain found using an alternate light source were deemed to be present since the car purchase, and their analysis continued through headspace of GCMS. The conclusion is that the identified compound do not definitively prove prior human decomposition in the car due to the potential alternative source. In the Casey Anthony trial, the prosecution relied on the computer's evidence of disturbing search term, including queries about chloroform, foolproof suffocation, and net breaking, suggesting Anthony's involvement in her daughter's death. The cashback software initially identified 84 searches of chloroform with a single period, but could not attribute them to a specific user account on the system's stock computer. A bug in the cashback software emerged just before deliberation, reducing the 84 search to a single beacon result, discussing historical chloroform use. Despite the glitch unreported to jury, Anthony was found not guilty of the murder. It was later revealed that her mother claimed the search were related to concerns about her dog's health, starting from chlorophyll and leading to chloroform.
Caylee Anthony's remains were found in the wooded area, covered with bags and tapes, 6 months after her disappearance. The nearly completed skeleton showed no visible trauma, but dark tips over the lower face suggested a foul play. Analysis indicate the placements in the wooded area months before the discovery. Despite no certain causes of death, it was deemed a homicide based on the evidence. Dr. John Gravely conducted the examinations with DNA identifications and items separating started on December 11, 2008. The exact cause of death remained uncertain, but the manner of death is considered as a homicide based on the evidence.
Now, let's proceed with the mistake during investigation and improvement that could be implemented. First and foremost, due to the lack of established scientific validity, the method that was used by Dr. Abraham Weiss could not be accepted since it does not comply with the Fry standard. Weiss testified that he owned a patent on the technique which had not been used in homicide investigation before this one. Weiss acknowledged several shortcomings in his testing that detracted from its credibility. Now, how to improve this? First, implement protocol for evidence collection, storage and analysis. Second, collaboration among experts that introduce a peer review process for findings. And fourth, provide trainings and education for professionals. Next, the gut content of the maggots were not tested for DNA. Therefore, there was not a definitive reason to state that the insects originated from human remains. Without testing the gut content for DNA, it becomes challenging to definitively conclude that the maggots originated from human remains. How to improve this? First, conduct overall testing when necessary. Second, introduce control sample. Third, collecting sample at various places. Finally, keep detailed record of the collecting procedure, consist place, time and condition of the method. Right software analysis were also one of the mistakes during investigation. The software designer testified that someone had searched for chloroform for 84 times and also looked up such terms such as head injuries, ruptured spleen, chest trauma, and internal bleeding on the Anthony's home computer in March 2008 during the regular work hours of George and Cindy. The designer later reports an error in his detecting software and determined that the user visited a site related to chloroform only once. Now, how to improve this? First, regular updates and checks should be performed on software tools. Second, conduct thorough examination without any assumption. Third, ensure that technicians are well trained and updated on the latest forensic tools and techniques. Finally, insufficient photograph of exhibit at crime scene. The FBI physical scientist testified that she did notice the outline of a heart on one of the 3 pieces while examining under ultraviolet lighting. However, there were no pictures taken of what she saw. After subjecting the tape to chemicals during further fingerprint testing, it was no longer present. This could be improved by conducting a final survey of the crime scene thoroughly. Second, document finding through photographs. And third, chemical testing should be conducted without compromising the initial observation. And finally, communicate discovery to the investigating team. The Caylee Anthony case involving Casey Anthony was marked by a lack of definitive evidence linking her to her daughter's death. Despite finding suspicious elements, their connection to Casey remained unclear, leaving the case with unresolved circumstances surrounding Caylee's death.